Yeah, now it started. Okay. So when we apply the external field here onto this ferromagnetic material, all this movement of dipoles, before applying that, will have the random direction, which either to this side, or this side, all this one. When we apply the external field, so all this random direction of the dipole movement will come to the one alignment, which is like start with completely with a some direction, particular one direction. So this will have the completely field strength, that ferromagnetic field strength which produce the flux here. You can see this, these are the coil wounded completely on the ferromagnetic material, okay, which given that external source. So once the given that external source, so all this dipole movement will come to the one particular direction, which is like we can calculate the complete magnetic flux that is carrying the current here with the some alignment of the direction here. Okay, so we have seen this, and other one also you can see, which is inductive coil having that turns, that is n number of turns, and if you place ferromagnetic material inside, so all this will come to the dipole moment one particular direction. So that we have seen that ferromagnetic material behavior. And then with the same thing, considering this ferromagnetic material, we have gone to the that is magnetization and permeability. With the same material, any of that ferromagnetic material, so without applying that external source, this is the behavior of the that magnet, which is material, ferromagnetic material, with how that random directions. Once you apply the external field, you can see that all this dipole moment which having that in the same direction of the magnetic field, with same direction of the magnetic field, which is after applying that external source. When before applying that external source, like you have the dipole moment in the random direction. So with considering this one, we have seen that in the dot product of the this all surface area ds dot dl, within that if you consider the n number of the surface, small surface area, n into ds dot dl, okay, and which we have considered the magnetization with this completely that partial alignment, that boundary current crossing through the surface enclosed, completely that enclosed will have that volume here, which is the total current of bounded charge with this material, which is dIb. Let me consider the small element of the dIb, which is equal to the, so that n number of that bounded charge here, ib and ds dot dl. So which here this n into ib ds, yesterday I think someone asking a doubt here how it will come to m, that magnetization. So here I think I forgot yesterday to write one equation, which is I missed here bounded charge, so I think you got confusion there. So today just to I have changed this one with the definition of here, which is bounded charge n times of the ib ds dot dl. So where this n ib ds is nothing but magnetization, which magnetization we have seen that definition is that the ratio of the total dipole moment over upon the this value, that is delta v. Now here also same thing, which n into ib ds, which is completely the dipole moment with respect to the per unit of volume here, d delta v. So this one is per unit of delta v, that volume completely. So which is nothing but our magnetization, m bar dot dl. So this now total, if you want to calculate entire of the this bounded charge, which is nothing but current here, which is closed, that completely closed here, closed integral m bar dot dl. Then further this one also we have seen that Ampere circuital law, that is total current, which having that for this completely, that bounded charge, which is having the dipole moment of the bounded charge, and plus that current flowing through this closed area. Okay, so that is I here, which is nothing but our Ampere circuital law, that closed line integral or Ampere circuital law, which also we have seen that here. And then with these things, we calculated what is that magnetization, that is dipole moment here. And then here we have seen other conditions, the relationship between magnetic field and magnetization, which is after substituting this current IT minus IB, which is Ampere circuital law, and then which having that bounded charge with magnetization. And then after comparing with the other Ampere circuital law with this one and this one, we have seen that magnetic field, which having that in terms of the magnetic flux density over upon that permeability, and minus which having that magnetization. And then we have seen that final conclusion with this one, susceptibility, which having this susceptibility, that is magnetization, which is psi m, and then having that magnetic field. And then after taking this magnetization, and you can substitute here, so we'll get magnetic flux density, which is mu naught 1 plus psi m, and then magnetic field intensity here. And then after taking this one, so we have seen that main of permeability. Okay, so that is completely permeability mu naught into mu r, which is magnetic field intensity here. And then that completely relative permeability. So relative permeability is nothing but which we are considering that material, like diamagnet, paramagnet, and then ferromagnet. So these conditions will apply this relative permeability here, which is like less than relative permittivity, like having sum of the material, which is greater than 1, that is greater than 1 value of the relative permeability, which we are seeing that some of the ferromagnetic material. So with these things, we'll call it as this psi m is susceptibility here. Susceptibility, which is that permeability totality. So we can see that mu equal to that permeability, which having that absolute permeability and then relative permeability. And this is unit we can measure Henry per meter. Okay. So till this we have seen that yesterday's class, that we have seen the relations between this yesterday's class, that is magnetic field intensity and magnetic flux density mu naught into mu r and Henry, that is magnetic field intensity. Okay. Now this also we have seen that some of the equation, the total current, and then having that bounded charges. With the same thing, you can take the curl also, that magnetization, which is having completely current density on that material, we can calculate it. Okay. So these are the yesterday's revision classes we have seen. Now today let us take the one main concept of boundary condition, which having that magnetic. Like similar way, we have seen that in electrostatic also, that boundary condition region, which one medium to the other medium, when it is passes one medium to the other medium. So that time we have calculated the, what is that on boundary conditions region. What is the boundary condition region of electric field or electric flux density. Now similar way in magnetostatic, let us take the boundary condition region, which we are taking that material part, which is in conducting and which is not in conducting medium. Okay, so conducting medium, that magnetic material, and which is not conducting medium, that is on boundary condition region. So what is the before starting this boundary condition, what is mean by a main thing of the boundary condition here? The condition of magnetic field existing at the boundary of the two media, when the magnetic field passes from one medium to the other medium are called the magnetic boundary condition. Okay, so this is the main thing, having that boundary conditions, which is two mediums, that magnetic field that is existing between one medium to the other medium. Okay, that is called as boundary condition region here. Okay, with these things we have to study the behavior of what is that magnetic flux density and what is that magnetic field intensity on the boundary condition region, which like having that both are in the vector in two components, we can solve it. So which to be calculated on boundary condition, which is flux density and then field intensity of magnet. So that to be calculated here. So with this we can calculate the with two components of, one is tangential to boundary condition and then other one is normal to the boundary condition, which is nothing but like a perpendicular to the boundary line. With these two, we need to concentrate what will be the magnetic field and magnetic flux density. Okay, so let to be considered this boundary condition either to isotropic or homogeneous medium or like a having that linear material with different permeability, that is having that mu1 and mu2. So mu1 is in medium 1 and mu2 is in medium 2. So for boundary condition to be calculated, this need to be considered here. It has to be isotropic and that material should have that homogeneous function and then it should have that linear material also. Okay, with that we can calculate the what is the permeability existing of this to the material mu1 and mu2 in medium 1 and medium 2. So this is our boundary condition, which we are taking that medium 1 and medium 2. So medium 1 is this one and medium 2 is here. So with this one, when this is our boundary condition region where I have drawn completely one line, this is the boundary condition region. Okay, so with the boundary condition on here, so one is like tangential. The tangential means nothing but this one on the boundary condition, and then other one is normal, which is like having that down with field intensity, that magnet field intensity to the tangential here, and other one is normal. So resultant, if you take these two, we'll get it as magnetic field intensity. Now similar way, if we consider the magnetic flux density, that magnetic field flux density on boundary condition, which is here is on tangential to the on boundary, and then which is normal to the boundary. Okay, that is a resultant. If you take it, we'll get it of these two as magnetic flux density, which here. So to calculate this one, field intensity and flux density. So one need to be considered as a rectangular shape, which is having that for calculating tangential, which is a closed rectangular box here. And then for calculating flux density, need to be considered Gaussian surface, which similar we have seen that in electrostatic field also. Okay, so now let us take that one is like closed path and then other one is Gaussian surface. Okay, so let me consider first one is normal, the boundary condition for normal component to be calculated here. Okay, so for boundary condition normal to calculate it, let us consider the Gaussian surface. Let us consider the Gaussian surface. Like Gaussian surface is nothing but one cylindrical shape. I have put it here. So one that completely cylindrical shape I have put on boundary condition, and this cylinder shape is half of is in medium 1 and half of is in medium 2. Okay, so that half cylindrical shape in medium 1 and half cylindrical shape in medium 2. The total distance of total height of the cylinder is delta H, and then the surface area of cylinder is ds here. Okay, so that is delta S. Fine. So which is half in the medium 1 and which is half in the medium 2. With considering this one, we need to calculate the magnetic flux density, that is B bar. So which is applied to the Gauss law for this cylindrical shape. need to be applied Gauss law, which is nothing but closed surface integral v bar dot ds equal to 0. Why it is 0? So this completely that magnetic flux density, that closed surface integral ds equal to 0 here. So that means where like we do not have the any magnetic separately, like isolated. So it's like individual single magnet pole does not exist. So that closed surface integral x v bar dot ds is equal to 0 here, which we have seen that one of the Maxwell equation, this one. Okay, now let us apply this completely the Gaussian surface, which having this to the cylindrical shape, on side need to be applied, and then top and bottom here. So side surface, that is lateral surface b bar dot ds, and then top, which is here, and then bottom, which is down. So top is in medium 1, and top that is bottom is in medium 2, that is mu2 and mu1 here. Now with this one, let us calculate one by one, which completely top, bottom and lateral, that is side here equal to 0. So now let us take reduce this height of the cylinder. Delta H tends to 0. Why I am taking this delta H tends to 0 means we are interested only on boundary condition. We are interested only on boundary condition line. Okay. So for this is the total delta H. So need to be calculated on this only the surface. What will be my magnetic flux density on boundary here, so that I can reduce completely the delta H tends to 0. So after taking this delta H tends to 0, let us take that in medium 1, which is normal we have drawn. So Bn1 is nothing but normal, which is in medium 1 of flux density, magnetic flux density. So let us take that Bn1 in medium 1, and then similar way Bn2 in medium 2, which is normal if you take Bn1 this side and Bn2 this side. Okay. So like having that magnetic flux density towards to the this side, magnetic flux density toward to the this side. So that magnetic flux density normal is in medium 1, and magnetic flux density normal to the medium 2. Okay. So now let us take that what is the top surface now. Main thing, first one is top surface. Calculate the top surface, which is having that magnetic flux density. Now top surface, which is directed to the in this direction, that perpendicular to the on boundary condition here, which is nothing but Bn1 in medium 1. Okay, so that V bar I have written as Bn1, which is constant here, which is constant boundary condition throughout on boundary condition here. So I have taken that constant outside, that is Bn1. Now remaining that closed top ds, which is closed top ds, nothing but that completely cylindrical surface area, that cylindrical surface area here, the closed cylindrical surface area ds is nothing but delta S, we assumed here. Now this is on top. Now similar way you can calculate the bottom surface. Now bottom surface you have the Bn2 in medium 2 direction, in this direction now. You can see that my cursor where I am moving. So this is my Bn2, which is perpendicular to the on boundary condition towards to the medium 2 here. So let me take that B bar is equal to, which having here Bn2. So before when we calculated normal on top surface, which is in this direction, Bn2 is in this direction. Now Bn1 is in this direction. Now Bn2 is opposite to the Bn1. So I have taken that minus here, that magnetic flux density as minus, because it is opposite. Okay. So now minus Bn2 close bottom having that integral ds, which is constant throughout the unboundary condition here in medium 2. So now you can take out Bn2 constant outside of the integration. Now close bottom surface ds. Now bottom surface of ds is nothing but as a delta S. Fine. Now other one is lateral b bar dot ds, which is at this side, which is nothing but it is completely delta h tends to 0. We have reduced to the 0. So that means delta h tends to 0 here. That side of the completely delta h tends to 0. So that side also will completely have it here is 0. But magnetic flux density is not 0. Only that delta h tends to 0. So that line integral also it will be 0 here. So now you can substitute here completely. Okay, you can substitute that total which having that you can substitute here total top, bottom, and lateral. So for this we can calculate the now you can substitute here total top, bottom, and side. So now top we got it as bn1 delta s, and then bottom we got it as minus b into delta s, and then which is lateral is 0 here. So now you can substitute here both. So now this one is both are equal. So we can calculate bn1 delta s equal to bn2 delta s. Now which is that side having that cylindrical surface, both sides are same. So delta s and delta l is also 0. Now having that flux density bn1 is equal to bn2. Okay. So on boundary condition, both that flux density are same. So which is nothing but normal in medium 1 and then normal in medium 2. Okay. So now you can relate this one to what is that my magnetic flux field intensity, which is on the boundary condition normal here. So we know the relationship between field intensity and then flux density, which is nothing but mu existing between the medium 1 and medium 2. So in medium 1, mu 1 h n1, and in medium 2, mu 2 h n2. Okay, you can substitute here in this equation. So you can take out further calculation here. So h1 h n1 by h n2, which is equal to mu n1 by mu 2. Now if you take some material which having that completely some of the material, suppose you consider as ferromagnetic material, which relative permittivity, that mu naught, mu 1 is nothing but mu naught into mu r. So mu naught is constant for both medium 1 and medium 2. So which get cancelled after that, having that relative permittivity in medium 2 and relative permeability medium 1. So mu r2 by mu r1 here, which for completely ferromagnetic material. So that is normal. So you can calculate for the some of the material like having on boundary condition, both are in the same, that is magnetic flux density or field intensity normally same here. So this is calculated on boundary condition region. So this is on boundary condition region for the calculation of magnetic flux density and magnetic field intensity throughout that normal on boundary condition region. Now, second one is tangential. What will happen? Tangential now, which you are going to draw the tangential of magnetic field or magnetic flux density. So for this need to be considered closed path. For this we need to consider the closed path. Wait. That slide is gone, I think. Only think that slide is missing one more for closed integral for the path here. Let me. Slide is missing. Yeah. I think by unfortunately that slide could have deleted. Okay. It could have deleted. I will just to take down here. This also same thing. You just to without equation, I will just to tell it here. Which like having you can just to concentrate. So tomorrow I will show once again that with this closed path here. Which a similar way of we have seen in a electrostatic in field on boundary condition. Same thing. Okay. So now closed path to calculate that magnetic uh, field intensity, which is closed path having this A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to A. Okay. Now A to B, that completely that length is delta W, that width of the closed path, and then height of the that delta H, that height of the delta H, that is closed path here, that B to C here. Okay, that B to C, and then which with this one we need to apply the completely closed line integral, which is from the Ampere circuital law, which is Ampere circuital law having that closed line integral h bar dot dl is equal to closed line integral h bar dot dl is equal to I here, right? Which we have seen that Ampere circuital law. So for this Ampere circuital law need to be considered a completely closed line integral h bar dot dl. Okay, so now same thing need to be applied here, that is A to B. So now you need to apply the closed line integral A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to A completely here. Now again, if you see this complete closed path, half of in medium 2 and then half of in the medium 1. It is placed like a half is in medium 1 and half is in medium 2. So for this again I have divided A to this D as taken as 1 point where it is on boundary condition, and similar way B to C I have taken that point is 2. Okay, so now closed line integral h bar dot dl to be applied A to B, then B to 2, then 2 to C, C to D, D to 1, and 1 to A. Okay, I think are you able to understand this without equation? Just I'm explaining here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes or no?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yeah. So are you able to understanding this one without equation? Yes or no? Or else I will take this one next to class portion, this one, if you are not able to. Okay. This portion I will leave it here, which is for this closed path, and then I will let me consider this one is in next class. So now let us come with other topic is magnetic circuit. So with if you are having any one circuit like same thing of a electrical circuit, like when you apply the one source to the any of the RL circuit or R circuit, for that which is applied potential and then relationship of electric field intensity, which we have seen that mathematical expression of with relationship between these two, which is E bar is equal to minus del V. This is in electrostatic field. Now, similar way, we have seen that in magnetostatic field, which like having scalar magnetic potential, for that H bar is equal to minus del Vm. This minus del Vm, which is for applying any of the circuit. Okay. So with this one, you can calculate what is that magnetic circuit complete in terms of potential. We'll call it as like magnetic motive force. Okay. And or also we can take we can say that MMF it is. So you can calculate the what is the potential difference between point A and B. Point A and B. Okay. So which like you are going to calculate that potential across the resistance. Okay. Suppose if you consider the example, potential to be calculated across the resistance. Now if you consider the across the resistance, point is A and B. Okay. Point A and B. So between that potential VAB is equal to, which is applied electric field having that integration of A to B E bar dot dl. The dl length is completely that resistance here, and electric field which is having that applied potential. So that also you can calculate what is the potential AB, and which is you can relate as a magnetic field also across that resistance, like magnetic motive force, and then magnetic field intensity, which you can calculate VAB equal A to B H bar dot dl. That same thing you can calculate that across the element here. Okay. So similar way you can take other things like here that Ohm's law to the magnetic field intensity. Ohm's law, which having that completely that electrostatic point form, which we have seen that magnetic current density H bar is equal to that conductivity of the material, and then having that applied electric field. And you can relate this one also magnetic flux density along with that current density, which is like having B bar is equal to mu into H bar, and then we can find that what is the total current is passing through the that circuit, RL circuit or R circuit. Okay, so I is equal to that surface integral, I is equal to that surface integral, which J bar dot ds, which is throughout that circuit what is the current density. Okay, and not only that current density, and you can calculate that what is that flux passing through the that circuit cross section of the magnetic circuit, which is the total magnetic flux, which is phi is equal to surface integral the total surface of that material, and then B bar dot ds, that magnetic flux density produced once that current flowing through that circuit will give the magnetic field intensity surround the conductor. Okay, so which you can calculate the total magnetic flux also, that having that surface area. And then with that definition of these things, you can calculate that what is the resistance having that current, and then potential across that resistance R is equal to V by I. So this one is calculation with respect to the mathematical form in a magnetic circuit. Now you can relate this reluctance also. you can calculate the reluctance also, which reluctance is going to define as the total magnetic motive force to the total flux. Okay. The reluctance is going to define as the total magnetic motive force, which is Vm over upon that flux phi here, which call it as reluctance. So that reluctance can be measured in terms of the ampere turn over upon the Weber here. So that is magnetic motive force will be going to denote as ampere turn, and then having that flux, that unit is Weber here. Now, for this resistor, which are made of either it can be linear isotropic, and it has to be like homogeneous material, and that conductivity is sigma, and having that uniformly that field is distributed over the cross section area, yes, and then length of that material is d, and then total resistance you can calculate as d by rho into s, which is r equal to rho l by a, right? So here conductivity we are taking. So resistivity is nothing but 1 by conductivity, 1 by over upon conductivity. So which is l is the distance, is the length of the that conductor d here, and then that area of the resistor, cross section area of the resistor, which is d by rho s here. Now similar way you can calculate reluctance also, which having that isotropic homogeneous function material and uniformly distributed, which is cross section S, and then total reluctance, and then length of the that conductor is d here. Then reluctance you can calculate d by over upon mu into s. So further we can also calculate the closed line integral, which having that completely that magnetic circuit, which is E bar dot dl is equal to 0. Okay. So that closed line integral for that completely material here. Similar way for magnetic phenomena, if we consider it, closed H bar dot dl is equal to I, which is once current is flowing through that material, which through the wire, and will produce that magnetic field I equal to closed line integral H bar dot dl, which is nothing but that wire having that turns. N is here number of turns that is going to wound it. That is a number of turns here, which is nothing but closed H bar dot dl. Okay. So this we have that some on sample magnetic circuit, which is like either you can consider it in the electrical circuit or magnetic circuit or coil that is having that n number of turns and carrying that current. Okay. So for this also, all this formula you can apply through that electromagnetic equations, and you can find out. Okay. So this is the concept of one magnetic circuit here, which I left that closed line integral. That let me write formula things and calculate the. Let me explain that session in next class. Okay. And then in this chapter, some of the things like we have the inductive coils, that mutual inductance if it is parallel and serial. Okay. So let me take those portion in the next class here. So any doubt you have?